Ooh, oh, hello, Internet! I'm sorry! I didn't see you there. I was too busy admiring one of my many souvenirs from my vast worldly travels. And by worldly travels, I, of course, am referring to the fact that I spent 24 hours this last weekend in New York City. It was kind of a big deal. Never been there before. Guess where I went? Nintendo World. It was awesome. Yeah, it was a big deal, man. I never been to New York City before, so I was really excited. Lots of feels. One feeling was fear and terror, because, like, I went with my friend Edlo, and her parents were, like, freaking out, because we're staying in a hostel, and they're like, oh, no, it's nothing but, like, murderers and prostitutes at hostels, and it's basically a homeless shelter, and you're gonna have to wait in line behind 20 dudes to share a shower, and there's nothing but, like, sad, ominous music playing in the hallways, and, like, I don't know, man, it's a YMCA, across from the Lincoln Center. Like, I mean, I don't know, the worst thing that's gonna happen, we're gonna come home and we're ripped all of a sudden. Oh dear. Seriously, and the most dangerous thing I saw were packs of, like, little German children saying German things. Like, seriously, like 4 years old. It was actually really nice. Kind of interesting, too, seeing a gym in a city, since I'm used to them, like, being really spread out in these massive compounds. But they just kind of, like, stacked all the stuff on top of each other, so it was, like, floor through 1 through 8 was, like, you know, gym classes and stuff like that. It was neat. Anyways, did a lot of things, a lot of cool things. I love subways. Always my favorite part of traveling anywhere is riding on subways. I know it seems simple, but I get more excited about trains than a grown man should, and I'm okay with that. But yeah, it was a good time. What did we do? We went by Nintendo World, which was amazing, because we weren't going to really do much sightseeing, but it happened to be, like, in the middle of, like, all the sightseeing stuff, so we got to see, like, Rockefeller Plaza, Rockefeller Center, whatever the hell you call it. You know, all that stuff, walked through Times Square on the way there, and it was kind of amazing. I was walking through there with, like, this big, dumb, goofy smile on my face, because it's kind of like an Apple store for video games, man. They had, like, little museum stands, and it was amazing. And we went to this place called the Beauty Bar. That was kind of cool, in the East Village, I think. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, I just kind of wandered. And, like, some guy, like, took an old salon, and they turned it into a bar, which was cool. So they had, like, you know, those beehive, like, what do you call it, hair dryer things as some of the chairs, and, like, their whole thing was like, you can get a martini and a manicure, hey, $10, which I didn't, but I appreciated the whole concept. That's kind of a neat idea. Watch people get manicures, whatever. Went there, that was cool. What else did we do? We went to... Oh, right. Also, it was Pride, which I didn't know was happening, but I was pleasantly surprised to be there, especially, like, you know, the Pride event after gay marriage got legalized. So I was like, oh my god, that's going to be, like, huge. So that was cool. So, I literally came home with a fistful of rainbows. Don't know what to do with this, but I have this now, and I was pleasantly surprised. I will say, I was kind of surprised by how corporate Pride was. Right? There's a lot of corporate sponsors, which I get on some level. Like, I get, like, you know, you need resources, and corporations got resources, and sponsorship is a great way to get, like, you know, the money and the stuff you need to host, like, a non-profit kind of event kind of thing. But at the same time, like, I don't know, I thought it's, like, wasn't the whole thing founded with a riot? It seems a little bit against, like, I guess the revolutionary roots of the event. I don't know much about it, so I was kind of surprised. And it's still kind of neat, lots of grab bags and stuff. Saw a dude on, like, stilts, all kinds of stuff. I did hear one guy say, no, I don't want these because they're brought to you by TD Ameritrade, and we don't want anything from TD Ameritrade. So I was like, I got nothing against them, but okay, I will take your rainbow things, I guess. So I got rainbows. Hey! It was a good time. I'd like to go back. I also had an existential crisis, which is one of my favorite things to do while traveling. If you're ever, vacationing, I highly recommend an existential crisis. Great touristy thing to do anywhere you go. Nothing like being hundreds of miles away from everything you're familiar with, to really kind of make you say, oh dear, what am I doing with my life? No, I really did get some feels. I'm going to write a blog post about it later for my travel blog. But there's this whole idea that, you know, New York there's a lot of feelings associated with New York. You hear about it all the time, no matter where you are, even if you're in a different country, you hear about New York City, you see movies shot there, and it incorporates all these different things associated with it. And at least to my understanding, it's the biggest city we got here in America, one of the biggest cities in the world, and part of me is like, oh god, if I, like, go to New York City and just like, whatever. Which on some level, it has to be, because it's just a place, right? ultimately, every place is just a place, and people just live there and they go about their sad lives. And, just because this movies take place there doesn't make that any different. I mean, everything I read about New York, one of the biggest things I always see recurring is the, I guess, the immense loneliness and the, disillusionment. So, like, that's just kind of life, You go to a place and it turns out to be a place, and you're like, oh, it's just a place. And it's like, a little bit of the magic in the world goes away a little bit. So I was kind of concerned that if the largest city in the world, or I guess the largest city in the country, was just kind of lackluster, that kind of means what hope is there really in the world to have something truly amazing? Because that's kind of like, that's it. That's what we got. We don't got anything bigger than New York. I mean, travel different countries maybe a little bit, but like, it's kind of, is that or nothing, because it doesn't get any bigger. So I was a little worried about that, and I got some complicated feelings about it. I'm going to write up about it, and it was a place. I had a great time, but it's also, a place is a place. Keep tuned to that, I'll post it, and yeah, that's what's going on, folks. See you later. You guys been to New York? Did I miss anything? Should I have done something cool? I went to another bar called like Bay Me. I always constantly mispronounce it. It was pitch black. It was in Williamsburg, and there's like a lot of like Latin music with the drums. It's kind of interesting. I don't know. Stuff happened. Good time. Ciao, folks.